Today on First Time Series, we are going to tackle the fine art of playing a recorder. The recorder, also known as a flutophone, is a very old instrument. It's like over 500 years old. It's part of an ancient family of woodwinds called the internal duct flutes. Duct flutes. The internal flutes. Now, despite its long history, often people think of the recorder as being a child's instrument or a toy, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, it is a very sophisticated instrument that requires you to put different fingers on the different holes to make different sounds. So you can go beep, 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 beep. So the secret to great recorder playing is learning how to breathe. So you might be like, hey Earnestine, I already know how to breathe and I watched your video on the harmonica, so I can breathe into an instrument already too. Well, indeed, but the trick to playing the recorder is breathing the right amount while the right holes are covered up. Otherwise, you could have a sharp sound that would be most unpleasant to the listener. So now you're probably thinking, well, how do I know which holes to cover? That's also a great question. So you could potentially try to tape different holes down and test it out, and then untape it, and then tape other holes, but that would make for a mighty slow song. So in fact, we're actually just supposed to use our fingers to cover the different holes. It's really more about what sounds you don't want than what sounds you do want. They say to make a masterpiece like Michelangelo's Brutus, you start with a big thing of marble and then you take away everything that you don't want. So you're like chip, 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 chip. And then you got like this little figure and you're like, hey Brutus, what's up? It's basically the same thing as playing a recorder. You want to cover all of the notes that you don't want, so what you're left with is the notes that you do want, and you use your fingers to cover them. So we're going to cover the notes, like so, and then we blow. Now you may be wondering, are there enough holes to make every tone or note that you need? Well, yes and no. There are enough holes, but you also have other secrets to make different sounds. So for the recorder, you can either use your tongue or a diaphragmatic vibrato, which will give you different notes. So essentially, you're either using your tongue or you're blowing extra hard, and that will give different notes for different things. But be careful, because when you're blowing really hard, you could hyperventilate, which means that you take in so much air and give out so much air, and then take in so much air and give out so much air and take in so much air and give out so much air and take in, and then you get lightheaded because none of that air actually goes to your brain and you could pass out. But I'm no wuss. I'm gonna crush it. The trick to conquering the recorder is a process we call cognitive dominion. Cognitive dominion allows you to rise above the loathing and trepidation and overcome the perils of recorder playing in order to create beautiful music. Cognitive dominion, here we come. Wasn't so bad. I did it! That's the power of cognitive dominion. I hope this has been a useful guide for you and has inspired you to go out and create beautiful music with this amazing instrument.